YouTube. So Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadribram, um, Outpost ISKCON West, Rajarajeshwari Nagar. We will have our Srimad Bhagavad Gita class right now. I am very happy to request His Grace Hitesh Madhav Prabhu to continue the Bhagavad Gita class today. We are in 5th chapter right now. I think he will be taking up
18th.
Chapter, 5th chapter, 18th verse today.
Yeah.
So over to you, Hitesh Madhav Prabhu. Eagerly looking forward to hearing from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhuji, for this service opportunity. I will start.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Sadanandina Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuttavadakamalam Sri Gurum Vishnu Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatamitam Tastadevam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijanasitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Savanarika Sri Shaka Sri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Rudramani Shri Vishwa Devi Paramami Vancha Kalpataruvesha Kupa Sindhuya Eva Chopatidanam Paunebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Ram Am I audible, Prabhuji, enough?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Yes,
Prabhu, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees again. Prabhuji has already set up the context for book distribution, so this time definitely we will try maximum. The last year was quite not much lull sort of period, so we'll try to see what best can be done.
Yeah.
And surely with Prabhuji's blessings and Prabhupada's blessing, definitely let's see how much we can do. Definitely we are sure we'll be able to do many things this time, many books this time. Okay, so today's I have been instructed to speak on 5th chapter, 18th shloka. So I'm just putting the shloka now on the screen. 2 minutes.
You do 10 sets of Bhagavatam, Marigo.
Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shunichaiva Shapake Cha.
If you distribute 10 sets of Bhagavatam, target met.
Vidya with education, Vinaya and gentleness. Sampanne, fully equipped. Brahmane, in the Brahmana. Gavi, in the cow. Hastini, in the elephant. Suni, in the dog. Cha, and Eva, certainly. Sopake, in the dog eater, the outcast. Cha, respectively. Panditaha, those who are wise. Savadarshinaha, who see with equal vision. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned, a gentleman Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog eater, that is outcast. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or caste. A Brahmana and outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and elephant may be different from point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme. Lord, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different phases of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend and maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of living entity. The Lord as a Paramatma is present both in outcast and in Brahmana. Although the body of Brahmana and that of outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the super soul within the body are the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the equality of soul and super soul, however, does not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A conscious, Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this and therefore is truly learned and have equal vision. The similar characteristics of soul and super soul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas super soul is conscious of all the body. The super soul is present in all bodies without distinction. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimade Jayapataka Swaminiti Namne Namo Acharya Padanitaya Krupa Padayane Guru Padaramadaya Guru Brahmadayane Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshanyavadi Paschaptya Deshatari Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. So Vidya Vinana Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shapake Cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Very famous sloka. It's very famous sloka. Prabhupada is putting in many his lectures, and anyway we know this sloka because we have almost everybody has heard in some context. The humble sages by virtue of true knowledge see maid and gentle Brahmana, cow and elephant, dog and dog eater. That is outcast. Hare Krishna. So I'm just pulling out the shloka and then we'll get into discussion. Okay, so this shloka is coming into chapter Karma Yoga, that is action in Krishna consciousness. So if you recall, this chapter is dealing with how the perfect yogi, that is a Krishna conscious person, because he is connected to Lord Krishna, how he is perfect yogi and how he is better than even Jnanis or Jnana yogi. That's this chapter is explaining. And Prabhupada is bringing us, converging us to very clear point that once you become Krishna conscious and do your karma in Krishna consciousness, that's the perfection of yoga. So Prabhupada is converging. So in this chapter, earlier verses are dealt with that Jnana yogi, what is symptoms of Jnana yogi, and what is symptoms of person in Krishna consciousness. This is one of the symptom of perfect yogi. Where the word Pandita. So Pandita means actually Brahmana, or Pandita is a knowledgeable person. We use this word very common. Pandit Hayoto. So Pandita. So actually, one of the major symptom of Pandita is explained here. Pandita is so knowledgeable, Brahmin or knowledgeable person. So what are the symptoms? That is what one of the symptoms is explained here. Is very prominent. It's very important behavioral. His qualities, basically he sees everybody in equal. So what is translation? The humble sages, that is Brahmana or Pandita, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned, gentle Brahmana, cow and elephant, dog and dog eater. So all animals and within human being there are various gradings based on their quality of life or infection of the modes based on their status in the society, whatever you call, based on their intellectual level, knowledge level. There are various grades. In the we see grading is very common in the society, and without grading, Prabhupada has clearly explained. Without grading, social order doesn't exist. Grading has to be there because there are different people with different different modes infected with different mentalities, different consciousness of, and obviously there has to be grading. But then, very important sloka. So this sloka says that the Pandit or Brahmana or the learned person, or to be precise, Krishna conscious, perfect Krishna conscious person will see all this in equal way. He will see animals in equal way, and he will see the learned most sattvic Brahmana also in equal way. It means what? Actually, Bhagavad Gita also proclaims on the Varnasrama Dharma. So actually, it tells the grading. These are the gradings. Varnasrama, four Varnas, four Ashrama, four Varnas. There is a division of the society into four orders. And one side, Brahmanas, best yogis seem to be they see them into equal way. So what is that? So basically, this is what we need to understand. Is there any contradiction? Obviously, there is no contradiction. There cannot be contradiction what Lord Krishna said. But we need to understand why there is no contradiction then. Because one side there is a grading, and one side there is a see them equal way. That's what we are going to learn in this shloka based on Prabhupada's purport. And again and again, at least I don't. I cannot tame myself. I mean, I always tend to quote how Prabhupada is always converging to the clear-cut point. Without Prabhupada's purport, it is impossible to understand even a single shloka of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. We can know this very clearly. Imagine Prabhupada's purport is not there for a moment or a second. Then we will take this, oh my God, this is a contradiction. Oh, one side equality need to be seen, and one side, oh, there is Varnashram Dharma, or even so many types of people, and all that is explained. So it's impossible without Prabhupada's purpose. So anyway, before getting into further explanation, one thing is very clear. Like this is a clear-cut, mandate that how even animals should be seen in equal level. So it is a clear-cut slap on the face of meat eaters. But how you can eat the meat where animals are to be seen in equal way? Even Prabhupada's one of the lecture mentioned, even trees also need to be seen as a citizen. It's so. I mean, Prabhupada being obviously at that level, he can clearly bring that point. The trees also has to be seen as a citizen of the nation or whatever we call. So that is the vision of the most learned person. So let's understand. When Pandita means he is that knowledgeable platform. And so in this shloka, how is becoming Pandita? So basically, let's understand what are those knowledge which are given in this shloka. And Prabhupada is clearly explaining. Throughout the purpose, Prabhupada is bringing 3 to 4 knowledge points. That's what I could sort of summarize. What are those knowledge? What is that Pandita? What makes that Pandita as a Pandita in this shloka? And Prabhupada explains. So basically, we can note here that the first thing is a Pandita doesn't see the living entity and a bodily platform. He sees them as a soul platform. Of course, bodily platform is seen definitely, and he is behaving with that living entity best with respect to their body only. Suppose, for example, we have got one devotee who will go and will take his blessings, will embrace him, or our friend, we also will shake hand or embrace him. But suppose there is a snake, are we going to embrace him? Obviously not. So then how we are going to see this? So behavioral point, behavior with that living entity should be based on the body. But the back of the mind, our consciousness of seeing that living entity should be as a soul. This is what the first Prabhupada is clearly mentioning here. This is the first thing, that is what we should learn to understand, that everybody is at the soul platform. Soul, so body of tiger, body of elephant, body of dog, body of chantal, body of brahmana, they are all external bodies, external machines, we can say. And that is based on their karmas, modes, how much they are infected. Based on the karma, they get body, and it will keep going, right? But behind that is soul. So soul as a constitutional position is Satchitanand. This is another knowledge point which Prabhupada is explaining, which Pandita is well versed with and who actually implements in the practice. Is basically he sees there as a soul. Soul is as a constitutional entity. Constitutional position of soul is Satchitanand, and that is that we are part of God. We are part and parcel of Lord Krishna. So he sees them as a part and parcel of Lord Krishna. Since Lord Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, we are also Satchidananda. Okay, we are also Satchidananda, but in a mind test. So all the we are quality. Another point which Cooper is mentioning, important knowledge point is we are qualitatively same as Lord Krishna, God, but we are not quantitatively. We are different. Our identity, we are not one that way. Like monism or impersonalists say, we are not monist. So we don't see that. So in one way, is clear. Prabhupada is clearly telling us that if you are not able to see Lord Krishna and yourself as a different identity, your identity is different as a soul and his super soul, then still it is an imperfection of knowledge. That's what impersonalists tend to, they cannot cross that snare of Maya, Prabhupada as you do. They cannot cross that barrier of seeing Lord Krishna and us as a different entity. We are of course part and parcel that way speaking. Lord, we are part and parcel of Lord. But we are qualitatively maybe similar, but we are quantitatively different is one thing. So this is another knowledge point which Pandita will be well versed with. Otherwise, we may have again confusion, right? So one is, so first is we are not bodies, we are soul. So we also see this way to the other living entities at a constitutional level, they are soul, they are not body. So whatever the external body, the devotee or the Krishna conscious person, perfect Pandita will not give much importance to that body. In terms of, he will not identify that body with that. He will identify soul is different, and that is he is originally constitutionally perfect as a part of Lord Krishna, as a part and parcel of. But the body is something which is imperfect, and body is something which is a barrier. So he will see that based on his karma, this body has come. He is into all that 84 lakhs evolution, devolution cycle. So he will see me, okay, fine, that is how it is. But then he will be very clear on back of it. He is a living entity at the back of it. So that's the second important point. He will see that way. Now this leads to very important outcome. We can understand. He will see. So that's why Prabhupada mentions here, Krishna conscious person try to elevate every living entity to the his original constitutional position because he sees that as a constitutional position. So important point is, important symptom of this knowledge of Pandita is basically he will be very compassionate because if you see as a body, obviously you cannot be compassionate if you don't see body as that person as a soul. If you don't see the living entity as a soul, constitutional soul, and if you see only as a body, it's very difficult to be compassionate because we will go by the body, and body will have its own characteristic, own behavior, and it's very difficult. So you will try to exploit it, obviously. So that is why it's happening. So because people are at a bodily platform, the exploitation comes, exploitation of body or exploitation of all that. Because they are seeing as a body, they are themselves thinking as a body, they are also body. Anyway, so that's a part of, that's the way the material nature works. That's the law of material nature, karma. So this is one. Third important is compassion will be the clear cut. Compassion will be the clear cut symptom. Prabhupada is like we can understand from Prabhupada here that symptom of the real Krishna conscious person or the Krishna conscious person or perfect yogi or Brahmana is compassionate to all living entities, and that is why he see them equal because he see equally them with compassion. He's not going to say that, oh, this is a tiger or this is a dog and this is a Brahmana. So Brahmana has got need to be, he will do the Shastras studies, but the dog might not be what is that he will gain. But he will try to give whatever way possible, whatever he can grasp that living entity, he will try to give that. Krishna. That's why Lord Chaitanya distributed Mahamantra to everybody because he was compassionate. He was the Lord himself, but in his Nam Avatar, so he was sort of demonstrating that everybody has got equal right to go back to body. So that way, it's equanimity and has to be established. So that is where Pandita will see all the living entities. Of course, one important thing. So behavioral thing, he will have discrimination because we cannot behave same way like dog, same way like snake, and same way like llama, obviously. But then that is only external. That is only external behavioral aspect. While the consciousness inside, he actually sees them equally. Is what we need to understand. So this is important. So Samadarshina means he will see them equally as at this constant position. Samavartina means basically I was reading somewhere. Samavartina means how you behave with others will depend on that word, obviously. But then that is only external. But originally, actually, you are seeing them equally and you are actually compassionate with them. So this is important. One of the knowledge point we Pandita will know. So basically, we are not same as Lord. We are different. And that is one more important Prabhupada explaining here is how we are different. Our identity is different, and the most important here is basically super soul is present in every living being, with the living entity in the form of like Kshirodashai Vishnu. So as a Paramatma, so there he is accompanying everybody, and he is equal to all, irrespective of body. So who are we to see that different is one way Prabhupada is saying here. How he is equal to everybody. So we are also should there because Lord is not discriminating. Why we should discriminate? Very logical. Lord is not. Lord is with tiger's body. Lord is with dog's body. Lord is with Chandala's body. Lord is with Brahmana's body. Vaishnava's body. He is with everybody. So we also should see them equally. If you don't see them equally, means actually we are actually sort of offending the Lord because He is not discriminating them. Rather, I will use the word discriminating them. So why we should discriminate? So that is one important knowledge point that Lord is all pervasive. We are not with. We are only conscious of our body, our field, kshetra. So we can be conscious of our kshetra, and kshetra means conscious of our kshetra means body. Our kshetra means all this our body, mind, subtle body, all this kshetra made of that 24 elements is your kshetra, and around us, prakriti. So that is our kshetra, but we are not conscious of beyond our body. We are not conscious. Lord Krishna is conscious. Lord is conscious of everybody, everywhere, everybody, every living, non-living. So so that is a clear-cut difference. Also, we need to understand because we may see everybody is one means what is it a one? Then we are also one. Then Lord also is one. Everybody is one. That see, this is a human mind, and Prabhupada has came heavy on always on impersonalist or monistic philosophies because we tend to extrapolate this, and then ultimately the whole purpose gets lost sometimes. Okay, because we are all one. Yeah, we are all one at a constituent level, but bodily we are not one. They are different, and they are still going to go to karma. But most importantly, all that for living entities, fine. As a soul platform, all are similar. But Lord is not one. I mean, we are not God because He is all pervasive. He is all conscious of everything, while we are not. So we are not one. We are different. Our identity is different. Our identity is soul. Lord's identity is super soul. So we are that way is also equally important. Now, one more thing. This is like Prabhupada mentions here. Bodies are the material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and super soul within the body are the same spiritual body. So we should see these bodies are coming from their karma. So, so if we are seeing that bodies are product of the karmas, so we should that compassion will come. Be okay. This is why that particular living entity is behaving that way because it is coming from his karma, and that is the way body or subtle body is given. It is behaving that way. So, if we develop this consciousness towards each living entity slowly, of course, it is saying done because we are not at all at that level. Okay, but the Krishna conscious person or the advanced devotees, they are definitely, they have developed this vision. But we should try to do this on practical life also. And slowly that vision will come where we'll see, okay, will not, that hatred or that that sort of seeing other living entity in a very bad way will go away, because we see, okay, this is a body, that is, he is living, he is under laws of nature, laws of karmas are acting, modes are acting, more important is the modes are acting. So why we should, the living entity may not be really in control, if you really see. So they are all modes. So if we think that way, it's all about laws of nature and karma. So why it's not really that living entity who is really getting affected by that. So if you see every soul as a constitutional servant of Lord Krishna, Lord constitutional, then obviously we'll say, okay, his soul is different, body is different, body is coming under laws of nature, which is may not be really in his control, if you really ask, because that is. So we can always have that, develop that attitude of compassion slowly. We can actually understand it logically also. If you see this way, then we will find it easy to deal with people. Oh, this is all he behaves because that is the way his mind is behaving. That is the way the laws of nature are acting, modes are acting on him. But then reality is basically he's a soul. So what we can do for ourselves is not only to that we should give knowledge for the, and if they are only fallen. We are, at least I am definitely, we're all fallen. So it's true for us also, that if you, as you keep developing the knowledge about body, soul, super soul, their correlation, their relation, then obviously this vision will be natural to come. It is very natural thing that vision will. That's a symptom. So Pandita means this vision. So it comes to that. So uh, we should be striving to go towards Pandita position for all of us. Basically, it may take birth, it may take millions of life. We don't know, but it's all about we should put our effort. Is what we can say as of now, right? So basically, this is what am I missing something? I'm just note down. One of the important knowledge point is eternity. So again, so the body is temporary, soul is permanent. So this is another important. When the Pandita is seeing everybody in the equal vision, means he's seeing they are eternal. Because otherwise, how will see them? Body will going to get destroyed. So he see they are eternal. This is, in fact, this is the basic. The first is the you are not body, your soul is the first Bhagavad Gita's basic fundamental. In this sloka, it is clearly, practically being explained that yes, how you can see equanimity can come only by if you go on the platform of soul. Equanimity cannot come on the body platform. That is what exactly it happened. If you really correlate to the history Varnashrama system was there, and that is based on the body. Body in the sense, it is basically to have distinguish between based on the bodily qualities. Okay, mode of, so who it is sattva guna, pure sattva brahmana. Mix means sattva, raja means kshatriya, rajo means vaishya, and uldeep, tamo means um, shudra. Now it is not to distinguish the soul, it is to distinguish the social order, because there will be different type of people, there will be different qualities of people, and everybody need to be elevated to the Krishna consciousness. So there is a systematic sort of order given by Lord himself, Varnashrama Dharma. That is why it was given. And then Brahmacharya, Vanaprasa, Grihastha, this is also given, because everybody has to go through the Brahmacharya. Then only you can become even Brahmana or all the Kshatriya, whatever may be the case. So there is a systematic process given. Yeah. Okay. Now the thing here is it's all based on the Bhagavad Gita's basic knowledge, obviously, because Lord Krishna is explaining Varnashrama and Bhagavad Gita, and he's explaining all Tattva also, you are not body, soul, all these things. Now, as if you see the in Kali Yuga started, and this slowly the deterioration of the top orders started, Kali Yuga by Kali Yuga influence, and then ultimately this Varnashrama probably got deteriorated into casteism. That's what now majority people outside who doesn't know the real philosophy of Krishna consciousness or Bhagavad Gita, they say, oh, Varnashrama is casteism. I mean, this is a foolish thing of people, and that is what is happening. But that is not the case because Varnashrama is clear. Its intentions are very clear. It is to satisfy the Lord. All the Varnashrama system is meant to satisfy the Lord ultimately. Okay, so very clear, clear cut SOPs are whatever you call it. Everything is given. Intentions are very clear. Everything is given, but we could not follow it. They start deteriorating, and they went into casteism because we just forgot this. Probably the people that time they forgot this sloka. Then because everything started, you are not soul. Sorry, you are not body. You are a spirit soul. If this knowledge is lost, and if we see with this knowledge is lost, if we see the Varnashrama, it will bound to get into casteism. Obviously, because people will treat them as the bodies only because they have forgot or they have lost the knowledge of soul. So then bodily distinction, then casteism came, and that is what it has started. Of course, there are many other elements. So it's a very different topic. It's not here. Neither I am also much authority to speak on that topic. It's a big historian will be able to tell. And Prabhupada has explained basically. No need to go to any historian. Prabhupada has touched he did not keep any stone unturned. He mentioned this because because if you forget the principles of Bhagavad Gita, basic principle, and see only the external thing, Varnashrama, suppose you see as only external mechanism, then it's going to be contradictory or it's going to be deteriorating. But we understand, no, it's the soul, and it's the soul has to be elevated to Krishna consciousness. But Lord Krishna himself has given this Varnashrama, but we are not at that level. We cannot artificially I am a Brahmana. So we need to go through some process of purification, and that will be different systematic order. So depending on the person's qualities, he will be treated, and he has to take up that process at a step by step, depending on his position in terms of his quality of life. So this is the way. But then, I'm just building this point because we can easily understand. If you don't understand this sloka, and we try to understand Varnashrama, we are going to fall down, and that is what Varnashrama system deteriorated. So overall, anyway, it's very important sloka, and Prabhupada has explained, and we also just discussed what are those knowledge points which make the Brahmana, Pandita or as Pandita or Krishna Vansa. These are the 5-6 points we discussed here. If we focus on these points, which Prabhupada has explained in a various ways here, we just summarized it. This is the way we should. This is the knowledge, and if you take this knowledge and try to become, we tend to get vision of Pandita. This is what we can derive from Prabhupada's purport and this sloka. And I will stop here. This is what I wanted to share. Now I will leave it to question and answer and Prabhuji's comments, corrections further. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for that particular clarity on oneness. Samadarshana Pandita means immediately we may think if everything is one like that. You made that into more clarity. And my doubt is you mentioned that Shirodagashai Vishnu, right? In the Paramatma. Could you give some more on that, Prabhu?
So Mahavishnu, we have seen, we are in the other side, Bhagavatam, we are going through the process of creation. Vidura is asking the questions to Maitreya. So their process of creation is explained. So Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu, a lot of universes, unlimited universes will be coming out. From in each universe, Mahavishnu will enter as a Shirodakshai Vishnu. And from Shirodakshai Vishnu's novel, there will be lotus. That's the universe coming, that particular universe. And in that universe, Brahma will come. So he enters into all this, each universe further, each atoms further as a Paramatma. And he lives with living entity. So with us, even Anu, Renu, everywhere. He is there in every Anu, in every living entity, everywhere he enters as a Paramatma picture. That's a localized picture, Prabhupada explained. So that way, that is what it is. It's a Shirodakshai Vishnu, is what we can explain in Bhagavatam.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, any comments or questions? Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
very powerful verse, of course. It's been taken in so many different ways in the past. Maybe what I'd like to understand is maybe a little bit of history to understand my or clarify my doubt, if I may. So I understand that there are different sects, and it's probably required in the society, and everybody goes through a particular evolution system. Completely understood. But are we supposed to be born in a particular sect, or did it evolve over time? Let's say just because I was born in a Brahmin family, I'm a Brahmin, right? Somebody else could be something else, right? And everybody has their own evolution, right? So was that how it was supposed to be, or did it at some point of time evolve, or did something happen in between?
Yes, Prabhu. I think if I am understanding your question, then I will try to put my response. Then you can correct me if the question I understand correctly. So basically, yes, Prabhuji, whatever happened, whatever birth you are taken in particular location, parents, caste, or whatever you call religion, nothing is by chance. This is based on our karma. So if we have happened to take birth in Brahmana's family, definitely we have a lot of pious activities in our past life. And the intention here is basically to continue developing that further Brahminical qualities. Now, actually, how it will happen depends on many things. One is external factors, and second is our own will. So, if one has taken the birth in Brahmana's family, means definitely Lord's intention is basically to further continue developing, evolving as a Brahmana, definitely, and the whole atmosphere will be given. Plus, but then it depends on the individual free will also. So that's why not necessarily that every person taking birth in Brahmana family will become Brahmana Vaishnava. They may degrade also. While sometimes people taken birth in Vaishya family are drawn to Brahmana. I mean that is what Prabhupada has done. He has brought a lot of Mlecchas, Yavanas, and even in India also a lot of casteism based people. He just brought in up. He elevated them. So many things. So, but ultimately it's all about mercy of it's all blessing or it's a mercy of Lord ultimately. But yes, if you go by process, whatever birth we are taken is there is a purpose, and there is a all is based on our karmas and our mode contamination of the modes, and is starting point further. So how you evolve will depend on your free will there, whatever external atmosphere, and then how you are blessed by that. It's factor of many things. 3 to 4 things works together. How we evolve further or devolve further. But just to summarize, we need not worry too much on what happens externally. If we have got strong desire and free will, nothing can prevent us in evolving in the right direction. If we have strong desire to serve Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna and his disciples and his gurus are very merciful. So it is not nothing is random. It's well perfect science how it works. So if we have got strong desire and taken birth in Brahmana family, nothing can prevent us in going further to Vaishnava further, provided we have got free will and we put effort there. And of course, it needs blessings from the Vaishnava, which is anyway will come if you desire develop that desire, and maybe we would have done earlier. We should continue asking for the blessing. How we pray also is important. So this is what I can put it. Maybe Prabhuji can we can sort of refine it further or add or correct it.
Thank you so much, Puri.
Yeah, I just want to. The point is. One is we are born in a particular class. We are thinking that way, right? We are born in a particular class, but the question is we don't know whether we can really call ourselves that in one sense. Now, let me put it another example. For example, a person who's a doctor's son not necessarily need to be a doctor. Is it not? He can become an actor or he can become whatever. We don't call him doctor also because he's born in a doctor's family. Now you have to extend that here also, but you should also understand the fact that that boy who's born in that doctor's family has very good opportunity to take up medicine, because that profession is in the blood. Like, the father, mother, whoever, like, then his uncle, aunt. If you see many of them, we see them. And they, right from the childhood, they have been born in an environment of talking medicine at home, like that. So this child naturally gains that propensity, and he will clear the MBBS exam quite easily and go. But someone who's completely a different line, he may struggle initially, maybe like that. Just a high level. Not that everybody will have to struggle, but the environment is actually available very nicely. That is one thing. So if we have progressed up to some point in our previous life, then you are put in a family which gives you a favorable environment. So in that sense, when Prabhu is saying, technically, like, when someone is in a Brahmanical family, then the culture given is Brahmanical. So a soul which has advanced to some extent can be placed in that family. But in today's concept of Kali, there is no Brahmana. That is another thing which we are seeing, right? So many people call ourselves Brahmanas, but there is no Brahmanical practices in home also. Then it's more of a label. Like, today so many people are called Trivedis, Dvivedis, or Ekavedi, name also. But are they really, they Veda? What? They will ask. Trivedi means one who knows all the Vedas, all the three Vedas, like that. Dvivedi means one who knows all the, the two of the four Vedas, like that. But they are not, right? They will be, I'm not saying against any particular name, don't get me wrong. There may be some Dvidevis or Tridevis who are also knowing Vedas. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, sometimes we label something based on what is the name given or something, but they may not be actually interested in Vedas at all. That way I'm saying, I'm not saying that they are ignorant or something. It's just that, they have no thing, but just because the name is there, we can't assume that that person knows the three Vedas or like that. So like that, this we need to see. At the same time, someone who is actually born in a very so-called, always within quotes I want to say, so-called lower class. But if his consciousness is, he's raising his consciousness now, for example, he gets an opportunity to understand Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and he develops these saintly qualities, then he is considered to be a Brahmana. So that is also there. So one way is, straight answer is, if you are in a cultural family which gives you nice spiritual understanding, then you have evolved to some extent earlier, so you are put in that environment so that you can, like Babu nicely said, you can further yourself quickly, easily. But that is not a hindrance. If we are not there earlier, we can always take it up now, because there's always a starting point for everybody. Not that only doctor's son becomes a doctor. So many times an actor's son also becomes doctor. Or a computer scientist, his son may become a musical artist. Family is only logic, but here it is art. That can happen. That depends on the environment that he gets, like, the whatever thing. But by and large, the guna comes with us. So if you are sattvic, you get to have Brahmanical qualities in you. Not necessarily you are born there. Again, because in Kali, earlier it was like that. Like, in a family, that culture was running strongly. Like, they will have those natural traits. So, but today, it is lost somehow, whatever it was systematically broken down, or, the Brahmanical kind of thinking, people degraded so much that, they started becoming very materialistic. And therefore, they started forgetting the concept that Aham Brahmasmi, or, that they have forgotten. Now they are thinking everything is materialistic. Then it goes. So that's why in our Vedic way of calling us, we call us Bijabandhu. A Brahmana, so-called person born in a so-called Brahmanical family, they are called Bijabandhu. That means Dvija means one who's twice born, which is a Brahmana. Dvija is basically twice born. A Brahmana means when he is given that sacred thread, he is actually taking another birth. That means that this time the birth from the guru, not from the biological parent. That's the meaning of this thread ceremony. You are given a thread so that you now become a proper, you are born to understand the spiritual world, not the material kind of a way. That's what. But we are not really there. Therefore, but then you are born in a Brahminical family, so you are given a Dvija Bandhu. Bandhu means a relative of a Brahmana. I am not Brahmin, but I am called a relative of a Brahmana. That way is mostly if you see that, but there are nice Brahminical people also. Like that is also there. So I would rather say quality of a person, it's evolution of the soul, not evolution of the body. So if the soul is elevated, he may be born in maybe another family of many souls who are already elevated, and therefore it becomes favorable for that soul to progress from where he left. And if that family has that culture, maybe they are Brahminical. But that way we need to see it. But yes, if you are in a culture like that, then you should be very happy that I have progressed to be born in a family which has a good culture of devotion or culture of understanding the spiritual subject. They will teach the children right from young age about so many things. That's favorable, right? The Brahminical quality. So that way we need to understand. Does it? I know I took a lot of time to explain that, but it is important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Guruji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So just to add a few things about this verse what we discussed. One thing is the humble sage by virtue of knowledge see with equal vision a learned gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog and a dog eater. So in one way, this also indicates the three gunas. A Brahmana and a cow are supposed to be of the Sattva guna, while elephant is supposed to be in the Rajoguna, and the dog and the dog eater in one form considered in the Tamoguna. So a learned Brahmana looks at everything, means people of different varieties. Prabhu talked very elaborately about that. Different varieties, he still sees them as one. It could also mean people of different guna. He will also accept someone who is very ignorant and look at him in a very equal vision. Oh, this fellow is ignorant, you don't completely ignore and do whatever, treat him differently, he treats him that way. And the other reason is when Prabhu talked very nicely about the Paramatma in the body. So he looks at that body not as that soul person's material body, but as the Lord's temple, because Paramatma is sitting there. So that's why we wear this tilak in our body. If you see actually all over the body, we say, right, we put in our arms, we put in our the side of our the belly on both sides, we put in the center, we put in the chest, we put in the neck, the tilak. Why? Because that body is actually the temple of the Lord. So when a pure devotee sees, he does not see our body, he sees the temple of the Lord, because the Paramatma is sitting inside. So that is another vision. So he looks at everybody equally, he looks at everyone as, okay, the Lord is there. Now the point of this knowledge, what knowledge we are talking about, a person with the pure knowledge, Pandita knowledge. You also have to relate it to the previous verse, because that is talking about what is actual full knowledge, where it is said, when one's intelligence, mind, faith and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge. That means he is able to see the Lord in everything, the hand of the Lord in everything. And therefore he is completely in sync. He is not like Prabhu talked about contradiction in something, right? But when you see Krishna's hand everywhere, when you have that vision that Krishna is there everywhere, the extension of that is sitting as Paramatma in everybody's body. And therefore he is actually, like you read now, he has to fix and surrender completely with full faith. That's what, his mind, intelligence, faith are all fixed in the Supreme. But he is dealing with different personalities. How does he fix always with Krishna? Then how does he deal with that? Right? And that means, should you always be only worshipping the deity in the temple? Like if you see Supreme means Supreme is in the deity or is in the scriptures. Right? In the books, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself, Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So does he only stick to reading the books and doing deity worship or anything like that? But then if he does something else, then is he not seeing Krishna? Is he not fully absorbed in Krishna, fully fixed in the Supreme? That is why I'm saying for him, the way to see that is he is actually able to see Paramatma in everybody. So even if he is engaged in dealing with some other person, he is actually seeing Krishna there. As we evolve, right, we understand this. It's not like, actually the one other class Padmanabha Prabhu was taking, and I have taken it on many times. So this, what is this? Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari. So at some point in time, we just say, okay, worshipping the deity at the temple, that's a nice Brahmanical quality. But then that person, while worshipping, he has to now start developing this consciousness that the devotees who are actually coming to see the Lord, he should know how to respect them, how to care for them. All that. It's now, I don't care. It's just about the deities which are in the temple. No, but you should learn how to actually start looking the other side, the devotees who are coming to see the deities, and try to give them Krishna consciousness. So that's like, you move away from becoming, broadening. That means from the Kanishta Adhikari, you come to Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari, like that. So this knowledgeable person is not going by the, okay, bookish knowledge. Okay, no, I am fixed in the Supreme, therefore to me Supreme is only this. How do you see the Supreme everywhere? Of course, not the Mayavad Supreme to say seeing everything is everywhere, like therefore the mountain is only God, not like that. But he also sees the hand of Krishna in that mountain. But he does not think the mountain is same as Krishna. Prabhu very nicely clarified. Monoism, he discussed very elaborately on all that. We are different, but do I also see Krishna in all of them? But that doesn't mean the mountain becomes Krishna. Of course, Govardhan mountain is Krishna, that's different. But not all mountains are Krishna. But Krishna's as a super soul is there in all living entities. A mountain is also a living entity in one sense. So he is there. But then he is not Krishna. He is sitting along with Krishna in the heart of that jiva. Mountain is the Lord is also sitting as Paramatma. That's why when Prabhupada gave a nice example of Prabhupada looking at even the trees, I've had some very nice examples of Prabhupada's dealing like this. Sometimes, he saw some trees are very badly treated inside the temple. He called the president and chastised him. This tree is inside the Lord's compound, and this is a citizen of this temple. You can't, ill-treat that tree. How you nicely keep the roots, everything clean, pour water. Everything has to be done nicely. Not that, oh, this is a tree, I ignore this. I only look at the cement and everything around the temple. And there is one, I think, in Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, if you go, you will see that one tree is there, right, in the center. In the courtyard, you will see one tree is there. So there was a discussion, oh, this tree here is an obstruction, Actually, it's right in front of the deities. I think it's in front of Krishna and Radha. That the right side of the center, you will find Krishna Balram. Left side, you will find Gaur Nitai. Right side, we will see Radha Krishna. Just opposite that, there is a tree. So there was a discussion. So therefore, it will be hindering the vision, of seeing the deities. Can we cut it off? Prabhupada said nothing doing. So if you see, even today we are having that tree there. People will be sitting around the tree's roots along that, even when classes are all going there. So that is important. How a Brahmana sees, how he looks at the whole thing. That's a very nice example that you look at the trees. Also, that reminded me of that. Prabhupada's pastimes. I just want to, my few thoughts on that verse, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other questions, any other comments? Welcome. Okay, so nice. Thank you, Prabhu, for an enlightening class.
Thanks.
Very clear, and all the important aspects of how a Vaishnava sees a particular verse versus how it is interpreted by many others. You were very focused on that. It was very nice. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhuji, for giving this support. Thanks, all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for the wonderful discourse. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what is the link for that book distribution? How do we go about it? Do we order?
Okay, so since you are away from Bangalore, you
Yes,
can order from the temple. They
Online?
will have, online also you can order, and whatever you are able to distribute, you just let us know so that we can report to the temple that so many books got distributed through this circle or whatever.
Okay, so Prabhuji, if I order online, I just order online, and there is a place to fill that I am from this and this group, and this
No, not
place.
necessarily. You just let me know that
Okay.
we have
Okay.
taken so many books like that.
Sure, Prabhuji.
So that
Sure.
we can collate all our members, how many ever team, whoever are distributed. See, it's not about target, beyond a point, it doesn't, that is what it is, whatever we can do. But nonetheless, it's inspiring when you say, like, when I always see Kripamai's team, they have so many Bhagavatams distributed, it inspires us. Right?
Yes,
like that,
Prabhuji.
when when we are able to say, okay, we managed to do it, inspires us, it inspires everybody. So
Yes, yes. I remember earlier there was a place to fill. You are from.
Yeah, they may come up with all this in course of time. So they will say, okay, because they want to, like, if you simply sit and do nothing, so at least if you report, you will know, right, what's happening. So they will come up with all these things in course of time. So that you can report, like, if you have taken, maybe Achyuta Prabhu will be managing that going forward. They will create a Google form and say, okay, each team you now report how many today, 5 small books, 3 small books, 10 Bhagavad Gitas, 1 Bhagavatam, whatever. So if you let us know, then we can update that and say. But your transaction of getting the book or paying all that, you can do it online, whatever.
Okay. Okay.
Others can let us know also, Achyuta Prabhu, then he can collect from the temple and give it to others. Like if you are in Bangalore or whatever, we can do that.
Yeah. Gita Jayanti on December 14th now.
Yes, Prabhu, 14th.
Yeah, from that day to 30 days like that.
No, not necessarily Gita Jayanti. I think we generally take it from December, right?
14th. This 14th is the
Gita Jayanti may come whatever day. That month we consider as the, like, generally we look at December as marathon month. Because December, if you see, it's a festive. Initially I would started within it's a festive season. Everybody goes to the shops and buys. And devotees used to distribute during that festival time, and many people were happy to take Bhagavad Gita or whatever Krishna book, Bhagavatam, like that. And that's how in ISKCON it started, like, okay, December month, it's a shopping, what do you call, whatever, in US, December, everybody used to shop like so much. It's a season, shopping season. So we also distributed books at that time, and it became, we were able to do a lot of books distribution at that time. So world over, okay, keep December as a book distribution month, like that. So December is what we generally consider. Because you can do it for December up to 15th January or whatever.
That example what they had given today in temple, it was very inspiring. On Gita Jayanti day, they all were gone for book distribution. One Prabhuji returned by 12 o'clock night to temple.
10 o'clock.
He came back. He thought that, I might be the last person, or, I was so late like that. He was the first person to return. Still devotees are distributing books beyond, 12 o'clock. It was very inspiring.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it was nice. There was also one share. No? So sometimes we may go out, we may not be able to distribute. But then the point is, like, if you had shown it to someone, they had seen it, they had touched it also, they are guaranteed a human life next year. Or if they read one sloka from that, if they flip through the book, what is this? Okay, they flip through and then they read one sloka or whatever also, they are guaranteed a human life. So that way we can save many lives if we really take it up. Do whatever we can. Sometimes we may not do numbers, that's okay. But at least we have put in our effort to take it to some people, show it to them, read through 1 or 2 slokas for them. So all this is there, why don't you take it? If they take it, fine. If they don't, at least, we got an opportunity to present Bhagavad Gita to them, in front of them, like that. Okay.
Sure, Prabhuji. I'll update you.
Yeah, we will try. Each of us, we will try whatever. Sure, ultimately, it's Krishna's will, whatever happens. But our effort is always there. We have to try.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
And there is a request from, that temple, Prabhuji also. The more you show, whether people are buying it or not, you show, to them. From some other devotee, they may buy. Okay, so keep on, showing is our business. Keep on, that is.
Nice.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we will end the class today. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for joining. Hare Krishna.